I have a very different kind of talk because I don't come from an educator background. So anyway, it was the early 90s and internet hadn't quite happened in our lives. I was working at Intel in the US and I really wanted to pursue higher studies. I got accepted into the master's program at Stanford, and then the real struggle started after the initial euphoria that how am I going to manage a full-time job, studies, juggling homework, full-time work and lessons and everything. But even back then, recognizing the challenge that working professionals face when they want to pursue higher education, Stanford had collaborated with some companies in the area and provided classes through what they called SITN. They would transmit classes live over a special link and provide also a two-way audio between the student at an off-site location and the teacher in the class, really allowing working professionals to be able to pursue higher studies. This was my first actually exposure to interactive distance learning leveraging technology. And it was really exciting to be able to do that in those days. Anyway, that was then. Now, as we look at the changing dynamics of higher education, the area that I would like to talk about is how technology has been shaping learning and is continuing to really shape learning. From a technology perspective, there are a few different devices that we use in our everyday lives that can be really further leveraged to deliver education. If we look at the TV first, it has been used by the government as well as by private players to deliver some kind of education over regular TV. The government had, in the early days itself, the Krishi Darshan type of programs, and private players are doing a lot of science, math, English education, etc. But the medium, though it has a very rich multimedia content capability. It comes with its own drawbacks, such that it doesn't have any kind of return path of communication. And it's really yet to gain momentum and really achieve critical volumes. So, in fact, we at English Edge are also looking to leverage the TV to do some English language teaching on daily situations and all, and we'll see how that pans out. Next, when we think of computer-based learning or e-learning, the idea largely, in many cases, has been that you develop courseware, make it available online, and then have it accessible to students. This really requires a lot of discipline from the students to get into a self-study mode, go through the lessons, do the assessments or the tests, and they really need to have a tremendous amount of motivation to go through the course and really do it. What we've found in our experience at English Edge is that teachers are really a very important part of the learning process. And we've found that the best learning is delivered using a two-pronged approach or a blended learning approach. Here, what we do is we empower teachers with the instructor-led training or ILT software, and students practice further using the computer-based training or the CBT software, and they can do that at their own pace. Courseware is developed bearing in mind the different needs of the two models, resulting in a highly effective learning experience. What this also gives us actually is a lot of scalability, because with the growing number of learners, the institutes are also growing, but there's a huge amount of teacher shortage. We're about 100,000 teachers short in higher education in India itself. And this model gives us the scalability that we don't need necessarily very qualified teachers to deliver a very effective learning experience. And we've in fact trained over 200,000 learners using this approach. But then, we're talking about 200,000 learners using this approach. How do we really get to millions of learners? And here again, there are about 200 million odd people in the 15 to 24 age group in India who are not enrolled in any kind of formal education. And what is it that these millions of people are carrying that we can leverage for educational purposes? And clearly, it's the mobile phone. And there are a lot of reservations people have. What can this tiny device do? How can anybody learn on this? But though small, it is really powerful. It's a veritable computer in its own right, supporting various channels of communication and a way to really reach out to the younger generation. Before we go any further, here is a picture showing some of the things that are possible on the mobile phone. Be it scientific information where, you want to depict graphs, chemical equations, circuitry, etc., English learning through visual means, general knowledge, or learning of any subject. Mobile phones of today can handle it. Through effective use of audio, video, images, text, a very rich, multimedia, highly interactive learning experience can be delivered on this device that is there in everybody's pocket. I'll delve a little more into mobile learning and what are the various ways to achieve it. Mobile phones offer various delivery technologies, and each one can be leveraged in its own way, depending on the target group and the learning needs to be delivered. Lessons, assessments, refreshers, general information, etc., all can be delivered to the mobile phone. This can be done via audio, often referred to as IVRS, where a user makes a call to a number and listens and interacts with an audio feed. A large subset of this information can be delivered over SMS, which is an entirely textual-based interface. Or mobile applications, web portals, videos over 3G, etc., can be used to deliver rich multimedia content. And a trade-off that's always there when you have mobile technology is between richness of content and reach. Technologies like IVRS or delivery technologies like IVRS and SMS have a universal reach such that they can be accessed by any and every phone. And in fact, IVRS has the added advantage that you can really use vernacular language to deliver the learning that you want to do. So you don't even have to be restricted necessarily to English, which would be the case in case of SMS-based delivery. But SMS is, of course, simple, cost-effective, and really it can stay with the user. Educational applications are available that deliver highly rich content consisting of various multimedia components. But where mobile phones offer huge opportunities in terms of delivering learning to the masses, there are also some unique challenges that they pose. And I think one of the earlier speakers touched a little bit about designing content for the mobile phone. There are the challenges of small screen sizes, the kind of input interface that's there, and the various technologies that the mobile, the differing technologies on the mobiles in the market. So while designing learning applications, we really have to bear in mind the density of information that goes on the mobile. It requires instructional designers to identify the most essential parts that they want to get across, ensure that there's no complicated text input required, and really keep a clean and simple layout. Information needs to go out in bite-sized chunks because the attention span of a user on the mobile is typically between 5 to 7 minutes. So these are some of the technical challenges, but then also when we look at using mobile learning and taking it to the masses, there's a bigger challenge in terms of mindset. And the mobile phone, typically people have this, that it's a communication device and it has become extended into an entertainment device, further reinforced through music phones, camera phones, etc. To change the mindset and really have the young people of today utilize the phone for learning purposes requires a paradigm shift, and for like-minded people to come together and create enough pull for this medium. IGNOU, through the efforts of Professor Pillai, has already taken steps in this direction where it is offering mobile solutions in some of its courses to the students. And now, the new kid on the block is tablet-based learning. They offer an entirely new paradigm of learning, engaging learners in the classroom and beyond. And we at English Edge, in fact, have been, sorry, it's already going off. Doesn't go back up. I'll take one more minute, Sandhya. So here, what we've devised is a model where the teacher has a tablet with the courseware, and it's connected to a projecting device. And the students in the class, either each one has a tablet or they share a tablet. And the whole system has been designed to really deliver very interactive learning. So So I'm just going to cut short to conclude. There's just one thought that I want to leave you with, that sometimes we get carried away with the technology and make it an end. Kuch nahi hota, it's okay. Acha ye chal. And make it an end rather than a means to an end. So whereas technology is being used more and more in education and working towards both expanding the reach of education and delivering a much funner, interactive learning experience, we as learning providers need to bear in mind that when using technology to shape learning, the focus needs to be on pedagogy rather than technology. Thank you.